than most. Eyes low in the post, ready for whatever, buddy. Trust me, you won't no smoke. Never disrespect my city, this the land of the ghosts. This shit doper than some white girls that just got off the boat. This shit came straight off the boat, 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 straight off the boat.
Yo, so with this Kawhi Leonard news coming out, I'm getting more and more requests to argue with people. I put out a request yesterday on Facebook to see, and I ended up doing a video with my cousin Melvin. So I'm doing a video today with my brother Brenton because he hit me up this morning and was like, yo, let's go. So anytime he asks for his request, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to give him his because these conversations are the ones that I really look forward to. So I'm not going to spend too much time with the introduction already. We all know what we talking about. We talk about Kawhi Leonard, the NBA, and whatever else tends to come up in the conversation with me and my brother. So y'all check this out and let me know what y'all feel. Yo.
Good evening, sir.
How are you? And it is morning time.
Yeah. But you know, for me, it's evening.
Right. You just getting off?
I'm lacing my work boots as we speak.
So, before you get in the bed and knock out for the day.
I probably won't go to sleep till about 12.
Oh, well, that ain't bad. That's more than enough time for us to, well, it's probably not more than enough, but.
It's enough.
Right, it's enough for us to get this out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Kawhi Leonard. Go.
Where do I begin?
Wherever
do I start in Toronto or do I start in San Antonio?
I'm versatile. You can take me anywhere. I'll let you lead the conversation. That
Okay,
shirt looks real familiar, by the way.
Huh?
That shirt that you got on looks real familiar, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not family you. My bad. I have to wear black to work. So. But if we're going to start with the Kawhi Leonard trade, I'm going to start in San Antonio.
Okay.
I think it was a very good move by San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
You add a guy who you know you're going to get at least 70 games out of for the next 3 years because he has a track record of playing most of his team's games, most of his career games. Last year he played 80 games, averaged 23 points. The year before that, I believe he averaged 27, a career 19.7 score, so basically around 20 points a game. Then you get a guy like Jakob, who I believe last year, because he was behind Jonas Valanciunas, didn't necessarily show everything they could do, but coming out of college, I believe he came out of Utah or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what he came out of.
Yeah, but he was a top 10 pick, though.
Yeah, very. Jakob could play.
Yeah.
I watched, I have NBA League Pass, so I watch.
I know.
We share League Pass, so I watch teams that people don't watch, and it's moments and games, or it's certain games throughout a season that you watch, and you like, he actually can play. So Jakob was a good pickup because if you think about it, San Antonio, if they want to play a traditional lineup with a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, center, and power forward, they really didn't do that last year because they had LaMarcus Aldridge, who's actually a 4, playing the 5 a lot, but you can now put him back at his natural position at the 4. You can put Jakob at the 5. You can put Rudy Gay at the 3, DeMar DeRozan at the 2. Then you have somebody like DeJounte Murray at the 1. The Spurs, I believe, came out winners on this trade. Regardless of what Kawhi Leonard did last year or what he did in previous years, but you added 2 pieces that can come into your system and fit. And you know what I'm saying? It fits very well because DeMar DeRozan, I feel, can play in any system because he's not a ball hog.
No, he's not. He's a good basketball player.
He's a team oriented player. Jakob who just entered his second year in the league. We don't know what his upside is, but I believe it's going to be a tremendous upside. But you in the middle next to a proven all-star like LaMarcus Aldridge, and you add him with a guy who's very talented in a Rudy Gay. Gay, a guy whose career averages about 17, 18 points a game. And then he's coming in along with a proven all-star again with DeMar DeRozan. And then you got a young commodity in Dejounte Murray, who we don't know much about, out of the University of Washington, but who is a very, very athletic person who's going to learn how
and they felt comfortable handing him the keys from Tony Parker.
Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Tony Parker's 40.
Tony Parker's also gone.
Yeah, Tony Parker also plays for the Charlotte Hornets, which was a very bad move. But, at the end of the day, we're not worried about that. But, I think the Spurs came out winners in this trade because regardless of what happens in the situation, they still get a heavily protected, first round pick. But even if that doesn't work out, they still get 2, second round picks. And they good. Ooh, the Spurs are good at scouting talent.
Oh, Manu Ginobili's a second round pick.
What is Tony Parker?
Tony Parker late first round. I think he went 29.
Tony Parker might be a second round pick, my dude.
You know how we settle things of this nature. You know how we settle this.
My other phone is always ready to... Listen, I ain't gonna let you sit up here and do me like this on your show. No. I'm
not. First round, pick number 28. I'm with you on the fact that San Antonio did make out really well in this trade because I was telling Melvin that DeMar DeRozan is potentially the best possible player that San Antonio could have got out of all the different packages that they were hearing for Kawhi Leonard. So with the package that they were getting, when they were talking about the Lakers, who's the best player?
Brandon Ingram.
Who?
Brandon Ingram.
Listen, I get why you would say Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has as much upside as anybody in this league.
Damn upside, he's better than Brandon Ingram is a better player than DeMar DeRozan. But go ahead.
He's not, but that's what I'm saying. Like out of all of that's arguable, but DeMar DeRozan. How? Because DeMar DeRozan is at least an all-star in this league. DeMar DeRozan has averaged 20-plus in this league. DeMar DeRozan has led his own team to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what I'm talking about.
What number pick was he?
Who, DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah.
10.
Okay, what number was Brandon Ingram?
2.
There's a reason why you go 1 and 2 in the NBA. That's what I'm telling you. But
Greg Oden went number 1 too, and as did Kwame Brown. Greg Oden, he went number 1.
You saying that like Greg Oden was a bum?
He had injuries. Kwame Brown was a bum. He went number 1. Michael Olowokandi went number 1.
You saying Greg Oden? You saying Kwame Brown is a bum because why?
Because he is. Don't let that Big 3 league fool you into thinking Kwame Brown is more than what he was.
Listen, I'm a big fan of the Big 3 league. All y'all who don't watch that, it's the most exciting thing on TV on Friday night.
That boy did. You did make me start watching that Big 3 league, bro. And I'm trying to tell you, the boy Boots, Nate Robinson, nothing to be messed around with out here.
Before you get into it now, Kwame Brown. Listen, in high school, Kwame Brown was dominant. But I think the problem that Kwame Brown had, which is a lot of players that play in the NBA, the problem is I believe he went to the Wizards, right? And did he play with Jordan?
I don't think so. I think Jordan was already in the front office by then.
No. What year did Kwame Brown? I think Kwame
Brown got drafted in 01?
I'm not exactly sure. I believe it's something like that. But like playing with Jordan, it's a different level. So like your first 3 years in the NBA are very critical. So like you go under and you this big time athlete, and then you get into the league, and then you have people that's better than you, but then you go into the league with the best player in the league, no matter how old he is, the best player to ever play basketball. So your touches are gonna get diminished. So you think about it, you going from 4 years of not being a number 1, number 2, or number 3 option, something like that, and just where you are basketball acumen, it just goes out the window. It's totally different. Like I used to be a good shooter, but I ain't shoot a basketball in 2 or 3 years. I guarantee you, if I go out there right now, I can't hit 10 3-pointers in a row.
Oh, so just for point of clarification, Kwame Brown was drafted number 1 overall in 2001, and Michael Jordan was on that team.
Exactly, because he retired in 03. So he had 2 years of playing with Jordan, where Jordan was the centerpiece of the basketball team, was the focal point of the basketball team, averaged 20 points throughout them years in Washington, and shot everything he wanted to. So Kwame Brown wasn't seeing no action like that. So I feel like Kwame Brown's career in the NBA was messed up because of Jordan.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but the results are still the results. And that wasn't the point that we were making. The point that we were making was that DeMar DeRozan and Brandon Ingram, we were trying to figure out the better play.
Don't disrespect me and act like I forgot what we was talking about.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to get too far off topic because we can go down a rabbit hole talking about that.
Listen. Your show is for you arguing with everybody about sports. My friend.
My brother.
About me. Yes. This is about me and you arguing about arguing.
You're right.
Exactly. We have different levels of competition when it comes to other people. But yeah, go ahead. But Brandon Ingram is a better basketball player.
Either way.
Because he's on.
Either way, my point being, because we were trying to get to my opinion about the Spurs side of this trade.
I'm already getting aggravated. He only been on the phone for 5 minutes. I'm aggravated already.
Because you interrupted me with every sentence. I can't even get a sentence out.
So what?
So
you still talking stupid nonsense about nothing.
So anyways, when we're talking about Brandon Ingram and DeMar DeRozan, as far as the Spurs are concerned, I think that the Spurs did end up getting a big piece because like I was telling Melvin, I think DeMar DeRozan can end up filling that role that Kawhi was filling for the Spurs as far as being their primary wing scorer, and he can fill that role to almost the same capacity. He's not as good of a defender as Kawhi Leonard is, but he's a hell of a defender. Like,
why would you say he's not as good of a defender?
I just think Kawhi Leonard is better equipped physically to deal with all the challenges that come, and Kawhi Leonard can guard positions pretty much 2 through 4. I think DeMar DeRozan kind of tails off toward when he gets to bigger people, and as far as on-ball man-to-man defense, just Kawhi's physical presence, I think the way his body's built is able to help him deal with more on the defensive end than DeMar DeRozan. It has nothing to do with DeMar DeRozan being a slouch as far as a defender. I love DeMar DeRozan as a basketball player. I just don't think that he's as good on the defensive end as Kawhi Leonard. I guess we pretty much feel the same about the trade. I think Spurs did come out, San Antonio did come out well in this trade, getting DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl, which I think you made all the points that I wanted to make about nobody knowing his ceiling and his and what it is that he can do from the 5 and the way he can put everybody in their natural positions because he can shoot it and he can play with his back to the basket a little bit. So
big.
Yeah, he's huge. And so
you can't teach size, bro.
No, you cannot. And so LaMarcus always played better next to a legit center. So I think if you put him in that position, they are still a playoff team and they're still the same threat that they've always been, even minus Kawhi Leonard. So let's go over to Toronto's side of things because Toronto is what's really interesting to me and what they're going to do.
That's what made you. I think this would mean you part ways. I went first on the last one.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and go on this one.
So I don't think that Toronto got Kawhi Leonard to play Kawhi Leonard. I thought Toronto got Kawhi Leonard in order to be a bigger player for the Lakers trade. Like, I don't think you bring him over there on that 1-year rental thing and risk losing him. Because no matter what he's saying now about how he's warming up to the idea of playing in the Raptors, I go with people's first mind, which is say that he don't want to play for them at all. And he only want to play in L.A. And so San Antonio wasn't going to trade him in the West. So they're going to trade him to the East. But the Raptors have no gripes about trading him to either one of the L.A. teams. And now it becomes a bidding war between the Clippers and the Lakers to see which one of them can get Kawhi Leonard. And I think Toronto just takes the best package that they're offered so that they can help with their rebuild. Because you know that they coming off of Serge Ibaka, Jonas Valanciunas, and Kyle Lowry. Not this coming season, but the season after that, all of them get off the books. And so if Toronto going to rebuild, they just gave away their best player to start the rebuild. And this is just going to be the beginning of a nuclear winter for Toronto to me. And I think that's what is going to happen. And the best building blocks that you can get would be some of those Laker pieces. I think you can get a Brandon Ingram. And so if you trade Kawhi for Brandon Ingram, then at least you got a starting block for your franchise.
Toronto did themselves no disservice. Like, yeah, they lost a pick or something like that, but you solidified your starting 5 for this year at least. You get Kyle Lowry, that's your 1. When you lose DeMar DeRozan, you lose your shooting guard, but you bring in Danny Green.
OG Anunoby or Danny Green can play that role.
they 3s and 4s. OG Anunoby and Pal Siakam, they 3s and 4s. But you bring in
Danny Green.
Danny Green, that's your starting 2 right there. You bring in Kawhi Leonard, that go your starting 3. You got Serge Ibaka, that go your starting 4, and you got
Valanciunas.
You know what I'm saying? And then you back up that with Fred VanVleet, who was a hell of a basketball player. Then you got Pal Siakam and OG Anunoby, and then DeLon Wright, who I didn't even mention yet, who could be your backup 2 or your backup 1 for real, however you want to play him and Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
And last year in the playoffs and especially against Washington, DeLon Wright showed me what he can do. Who's the younger brother of Darrell Wright, matter of fact.
Drafted by the Miami Heat, straight out of high school.
You know what I'm saying? So I seen what he can do. And DeLon Wright is he's
a
one of those
very good
players
basketball player
that can earn him some money just by playing his role and doing what he got to do because he's a very good basketball player. So Toronto. And your mindset, you feel like, oh, Toronto just did this so they can trade these players out. Nah, we didn't do that. We did this so this year I could get to the finals. And this is my early prediction. I know this unexpected from you, but because of the trade, my early prediction for getting to the finals now is out of the Eastern Conference. You got the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
Beating the Celtics in 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. And you have the Los Angeles Lakers, who will make it to the NBA Finals.
Stop it! Stop doing this to me! Why are you... Brenton, stop, bro. Like... God damn! Why would you say that? Bro, listen. There is absolutely no way that the Lakers are making it to the championship. There's no way that the Toronto Raptors are making it to the championship. Well, I take that back. The Toronto Raptors could make it. There's no way that the Lakers are making it, bro. Look, okay, so I will agree with you on one thing. I think Toronto keeping Fred VanVleet in this trade was huge.
Yeah,
was huge because I know he had to be discussed. He had to be discussed in this. So
bro, listen, you talk about, like, okay.
And Anunoby.
Hold on. Oh, Anunoby, hell of a defender.
Yes, sir.
The only way that Toronto, because like you said, he was discussing a trade. Of course he was, but I know Masai Ujiri. He said the only way you can get Fred VanVleet is if you give me Patty Mills.
I don't think so, because I think Patty Mills' contract got San Antonio wanting to get from under that anyway.
Nah. You can't trade, like, especially players off the bench.
Like 16 points a game. That boy come.
Patty Mills is one of those players that can come off the bench or start. And
Yeah.
he can start at 1 or 2, and he's not very big.
No, he's a little guy.
6'2".
But he can
You know what I'm
he can
saying?
put the ball in the hole, though.
Exactly. Patty Mills can score. Ever since he was in college at I think he went to St. Mary's or something like that. Ever since he was in college, Patty Mills can score. So Patty Mills can score that rock. You know what I'm saying? So when they enter Fred VanVleet in that, Masai Ujiri said, you got to give me Patty Mills. And I don't think Patty Mills is a San Antonio Spur.
I think losing Tony Parker made Patty Mills that much more important to their organization. Because now he can... Huh?
He didn't start last year. What was Tony Parker last year?
Tony Parker was a bench player, a mentor.
Right.
Right.
Sit your ass on the bench and don't say nothing.
Right, but I mean, you needed somebody who knew the Spurs organization. Like after Tim Duncan left, and Tony Parker was the most respected Spur there.
More than Ginobili?
I don't know. Well, Pop is the most respected Spur.
You know how we like to go all over the place. Who's the more important Spur, Ginobili or Tony Parker?
All time?
Yeah.
Shit. Probably. I know, but that's a tough question. Probably Ginobili.
All right.
Probably Ginobili because of his versatility, and he was something that teams couldn't like really prepare for because his game was weird. Like it was new to the league. Nobody was doing the type of stuff that he was doing.
What do you mean introducing the Euro stuff?
Oh yeah, like stuff like that. Like And it was that left-handed thing, like the behind the back pass, just all the plays that he can make from really terrible situations. Like you couldn't account for that. And I think that's from all that experience playing that Euro basketball. Like he came into the league a seasoned vet already. So by the time he got over here, like he was just showing people the stuff that he had already shown overseas for a long time.
So exactly, same thing as with Dirt and Whiskey. You got this big old white boy that's 7 feet that can hit the three, put the ball on the floor. That European style, which has cultivated our league and taken over everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like that's why the traditional centers don't exist no more. I was watching a podcast earlier from it's called In the Zone with Chris Broussard. He was interviewing Shaq, and Shaq was like, he was asking Shaq like, oh, if you taking this European style and incorporate it into the league, when you were saying how would it work, he was like, we would dominate the Golden State Warriors because like you seeing somebody like
Draymond Green.
He said Draymond Green couldn't guard him on his best day, which is the truth.
It's the blood raw truth.
But yeah, you send somebody like Steph Curry baseline against Shaq. Like, what do you think gonna happen?
He gonna get clotheslined.
He gonna be Charles Oakley standing in the paint, and Steph Curry want to make one of them finger roll layups. Yo, you'll never make one of them finger roll layups again in your life.
You won't have no teeth.
Greg Popovich has a certain system. But I honestly feel like he don't have a system. I feel like the system that he had in place, Ginobili came in and infused it with his European style that allowed Greg Popovich's system to, be evolutionized, to grow. It was like, okay, well, if I incorporate this other stuff into my system, it'll work.
I get it. Ginobili was the first player able to come into there and work outside of the system, but within the system.
Within the system to actually make it work to fit.
Right, you got to work within this system, but you don't have to do it the same way everybody else. Do it your way.
Work within the system, but do it your way. The only thing is like when you do this here, instead of like how you average 40 points a game when you was in Europe, listen, do this here, average your 20 points and get your 5 assists, get your 6 assists, get your 7 assists.
Right, become a playmaker.
Exactly. You ain't playing no defense over there, but listen, we're going to teach you how to play defense. I got players over here. I got the Mario Ellis. I got the
Bruce Bowen,
Avery Johnson. So we're going to teach you how to play defense because what you was doing in Europe sucks.
That ain't going to happen.
No, because you will get bust by these boys over here. You ever heard of Michael Jordan? You ever heard of Latrell Sprewell out in Houston? No?
Oh, you don't know them? You better go find out. Let's do this film study. You saying the best offseason acquisition.
Yes. Like, and don't be biased with it or anything like that, but just tell me, like, even if it's an acquisition that you don't think has happened yet, but the best NBA, best acquisition so far, or what you think could happen.
Well, I mean, the easy answer has to be LeBron James, bro. Like, it's the best offseason acquisition because it takes a 35-win team to being potentially discussed as a 1 or 2 seed or a championship contender to some. So I think that move.
Hold on, bastard. Why would you say it like that? Like, oh, a championship.
Because somebody said that the Lakers going to the championship, and good God from Zion, that's the first time I've heard.
Rebuttal that or something?
No. It wasn't for that. Like, I don't need your opinion on that. I don't care what your opinion is. It's wrong.
I watch a lot of rap battles, and they say rebuttal that. Let me rebuttal it. The Lakers are going to the championship. Now continue.
That's not a rebuttal. That's you reiterating the same stupid thing that you said the first time.
Okay. Well, the Lakers are going to beat the Warriors in 6 games.
All right. I mean, look.
In the second round of the playoffs.
Look, bro. Listen. You're not going to get me to continue. You're not going to get me to argue that because the
Rockets in 5 games. So continue.
Listen. I think that they could beat the Rockets. I think that they could beat a lot of teams in the playoffs. I don't think the Warriors are one of those teams.
Okay, who's the biggest? I guess so.
You get so what you getting aggravated for? Because I don't agree with you saying the Lakers going to the championship.
You don't have to agree, but but it's my thing, bro. We don't have a league pass for no reason.
Like, and this what I this. You know, I'm tell you the one thing I can't stand about you the most, bro.
Go
Like,
ahead.
for real. Like, as a person, I think you're phenomenal. As a brother, I think you're probably the greatest big brother the world has ever seen. No lie. What I can't stand about you, like, more than anything, is the lack of disrespect that you have for LeBron James. Bro, you disrespect this man so much that I just want you and Skip Bayless to meet each other and just go to dinner and talk about how much y'all hate LeBron James.
No matter what combination LeBron put on the court against the Warriors, he never had two of the best. Well, if you add Kevin Love, okay, cool. He never had any resemblance of two of the best on the floor.
But listen, bro, you talking to me like I said, if LeBron James don't win this final, I called the sweep before it even started. I knew already what was going to go down.
Why did you know, Roy?
Because I knew that the team surrounding LeBron James was a garbage can. But this is the first year that has been the case. Every year prior to this, he's had at least two. Well, I ain't gonna say two All-Stars because you proved to me that wasn't the case one time. But he had at least two upper echelon players in this league on his roster. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love are upper echelon. Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh are upper echelon players, including LeBron James in that category. Those are three elite players in the league for LeBron James.
At the end of the day, the better team always wins.
Exactly, and LeBron James is never on the better team, even though he's the best player. He's never on the better team, so I don't get why so many people choose to make that as an excuse.
Because the drop off. When you go from if you go from six to 10 on the player list, when you go, Sean Livingston is a bench player, and not even a major bench player. He's not even a sixth man. He's a major bench player on the Warriors. But for what the Warriors do, he's a better player than their starting center, who's Tristan Thompson.
He's a garbage can.
Huh?
He's garbage.
Who?
Tristan Thompson, garbage.
Oh, yeah. And their starting shooting guard, J.R. Smith.
So I'm glad you brought those two up. So now, because we're going to put all this into context, not just what he do on the basketball court. Why are those two bums there? Why? Why are they still Cavaliers, Shep?
Because David...
No. Why?
Listen.
What? No, answer my question before you move on. Why are they still there?
You're not gonna bait me into anything.
It's not a bait. It's a question. Why I can't ask you no questions that you want to answer? Why are J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson untradeable contracts at this point in their career? Who got them that money, Shep?
Listen.
Who got them that money? Because he thought they was good enough to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Listen. The owner has to sum up at the end of the day.
You're not gonna absolve that man of blame, Shep.
Listen. If I'm a player, all I can do is suggest. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
And so all LeBron James can do is suggest that I overpay Tristan Thompson.
Suggest that you sign these two guys back. That's all I can do. As the owner, as the GM, all I can do is suggest. But as the owner and the GM, you have the proof in the pudding. You have the rights to this.
Not that I'm holding you hostage to signing them back.
No, like, listen, would I have done it? Hell no.
No, bro.
Would I have done it? I'm sure not. But that's not none of our concern. Our concern is the fact that he had the 12th and 13th best player in the series.
But he could have had better players if he wasn't trying to be more than just a player. If he let GMs do their job and let coaches do their job, then maybe he wouldn't be in this situation. You don't sign.
Bro, you can whatever you want to, but you trying to sit up here and act like, at the end of the day, you trying to act like LeBron James can't take a 35. Bro, listen, like I said, LeBron James is worth 15 wins by himself.
I'm not saying that he can't take a 35-win team to the championship. He did it in the East. I'm saying he can't do it in the Western Conference.
Who's gonna stop him? Like,
Golden State, the same team that's been stopping him.
Higher than most,